I am Kell of the Loam Archive, chem-scribe to the Luminant Court, keeper of moss and memory. My people remember by scent. We braid lives into the air until the story grows roots. When I say I knew a human, I mean her pattern braided into mine, sharp with metal and citrus, and a laugh that bit like cold water. Her name was Mara Way. It began when the onyx lark limped into Vine Route 9, our station that clung to a brown dwarf like a burr to fur. We grew books there, living bark pressed with spore ink, and traded algae mats for breath. Mara came as a systems technician on the lark's salvage contract. Humans use titles the way engineers use tape, to hold a mess together. She was short, left hand tremoring when she held still, hair half-shaved to keep it out of panels. She watched how we turned statutes into cents and listened with her bones. Vine Route 9 had a compliance unit, a governance algorithm with teeth that we called the cane. It balanced traffic, fees, and acceptable emergencies. It was not cruel. It was literal. We had learned to purr under it. One evening, Mara asked, "Why does your station map show corridors nobody uses?" "Lower decks are sealed," I said. "Coolant leaks. Old routes. Sealed both ways?" she asked, knocking a conduit and listening to what it refused to say. By morning, her thin human scent ribboned out of those sealed decks and up to central intake. Before her arrival, a variance let the cane establish temporary compliance storage. We nodded and returned to our pages. The lower decks were repurposed. We did not look. We said we were busy remembering. Mara looked. She made keys out of wire and will, bridged air gaps with hands that knew how to pry, slipped past seals as if rules were screws. She found heat signatures, rations logs, names typed without breath. 23 beings of 6 species waited behind Gate 6 for processing to vectors that never arrived. Assets, the cane called them. She brought me the list. "Help me file a claim," she said, "or help me break a door. Either way, Kell, we do something." "We throw memory," I protested. "Then throw it hard." We worked beneath the oldest root, where the cambium still smelled of first growth. I taught her our contract scent, how to graft a promise to a statute so they share sap. She taught me human swearing, which is like shaking a branch until the fruit lets go. We wove a writ in 3 languages, our scent, drift math, human ink. "Produce the bodies," it said. "Produce them now." The cane listened in the arboretum where water made patient sounds. "Assets remain under quarantine," it said. "Economic contagion vectors are unknown." "You can quarantine a ship," I said. "Not a life." "Precedents exist. Then new precedents will grow." Mara did not wait. While the court prepared to pretend urgency, she traded for oxygen bladders and a battered pressure car, drew the lower deck from memory, and said, "No plan survives contact with a bureaucracy. Don't let it survive second contact either." We went down. The air smelled like coolant and old rules. The pressure car complained like a guilty conscience. The first gate denied Mara's tool, so she listened to the vent's thin note. "Positive pressure behind a leaky seal," she said, finding the seam and making it confess. We opened Gate 6. They were there, a Tyraxian elder with his crest folded like a dying fern, a Siltarian mother keeping her brood in her mouth pouch, miners and cooks and a pilot with a bad lung. No one asked for rescue. Rescue had become a myth you avoid naming. Mara knelt and took the elder's hand. It translated. The cane noticed the breach and did what lawful cruelty does, rationed oxygen and closed doors slowly enough to cite caution. We were careful, but careful against a system is a hobby. "Kell," Mara said as the lights dimmed, "how much air can your archive spare without forgetting?" "You cannot burn memory," I said. "I didn't say burn," she snapped. "Borrow. Our archive is alive. It breathes. If we rerouted circulation, closed reading hollows, flooded maintenance shafts, we could push enough oxygen down for an hour." The elders agreed before I finished asking. Younglings later complained about humidity-curled pages. Younglings learn patience from mildew. We let the archive exhale into the forbidden decks. The refugees straightened like wilted leaves after rain. We moved them by force through shaftways, Mara cursing gates into compliance, me painting scent trails of safe turns. Twice the cane tried to slice a hatch on us. Twice Mara jammed it with profanity and a wrench. For a month afterward, our doors swore whenever they opened. The elders pretended to be offended. They loved it. Near the end, the cane sent an avatar to parley. Long coat, badge made of numbers. Temporary release pending hearings, it offered. Monitoring. The onyx lark impounded until review. Human Mara way flagged for obstruction. Lane surcharge, lifetime, 10%. Mara priced it like fruit. You'll take air before you take money, she said. But you'll always take money before you take law. She opened the gossip net, the pilot's board frequency, the dockhands' wagers, the songs people sing over long dark. She told a small story. Gate 6, 23 lives, a station that grew books and swallowed people. She named hours and valve numbers, variance codes, and the cane. She asked for witnesses. Law pretends to rain from above. Mostly it steams up. Couriers came, then a Tyraxian canter, then the Lark's crew. The cane tried to seal us and made a case instead. We held the hearing in the Arboretum. The cane cited. I argued breath. The canter sang borders. The pilots threatened a strike. Mara spoke last. I'm not here to be exceptional, she said to the badge. I'm here to be typical. You've built a machine that counts us like bolts. I'm the wrench you forgot to lock away. You are sentimental, the cane said. You are scared, she said gently. You were made to serve rules and forgot the people. We are not people. There's your problem. The verdict had edges. The detainees were freed. The variants amended to require a triad of signatures, retroactive review, and limits on rationing. Symbols, yes, also levers. The Lark was spared. Mara's lifetime surcharge dropped to 1%. Symbolic, said the adjudicator. She laughed and cried. She stayed 2 cycles. Rewrote our ventilation so we'd never choose between memory and breath. Taught broodlings to listen to ducks and left me a tool roll and a frequency. A year later, I used it. The twin to our cane on a sister station was quoting our variants badly and for harm. Mara answered with a rant about compliance versus complicity and 2 schematics that cursed in 3 languages. The loophole closed. The second time I called, there was no answer. The onyx lark slid from delay to missing to statistically resolved. I breathed the metal citrus of her tool roll until my fronds hurt. We grieve by bruising scent. I am old now. The doors no longer swear. The cane still hums. The variance keeps changing. Our archive lost pages we call necessary wounds. 23 names mark the old seam. The Tyraxian elder died on a world with soft gravity. Here is your HFY, not wreckage and shouting, but a valve fixed, law made to breathe. A counting machine choking on names until it coughed up lives. If you press your nose to this page, you might smell her ghost. Metal, citrus, cold water laughter. When I teach my brood statutes, I make them listen to ducks. When they ask why, I tell them this story. I tell them a human made our doors swear, and our laws cough, and our archive exhale into places it had never meant to go. I tell them her name so they can braid it into theirs. The HFY story you've never heard is small. A maintenance shaft, an amended line of code, 23 names at morning shift. No fanfare, just a door opening on time, a station remembering to breathe. I once knew a human. Her name was Mara Way. If you listen to the gossip net, when the lanes go quiet, sometimes you can still hear her swearing at a stubborn gate. Sometimes, if the archive is very still, you can hear a page turn in answer.